stay a while and listen.
Stay a while and listen. Yes, definitely. Hello, everybody. We are back. We are bumping. And hi. Oh, look, all the cameras are messed up. Let's go to this channel instead until I can fix that.
Pog.
Yeah. Hi.
JD's two people.
Yes, he is. He is. He's a lot. He's a lot of man.
Evolving.
We're all JD. We're all Xehanort.
You can't get away now.
We're all a little bit of Abasi. It's true. He's growing stronger.
I've already eaten the mouse.
No. No.
Now you're the size of a normal person, right?
Goodness gracious.
What have I done?
No, I mean if you were really, truly a bossy.
Oh, so eating Mickey Mouse will make me whole again. Abasi has a new goal.
Yeah. It's that simple.
Nom nom.
So, guys, it's been a week since we played, and, well, shit happened last time. And it popped off. You guys had to deal with some things. There were fires, crocodiles, and raccoon fingers.
Aww.
Yeah, it was so horrific that Nick never survived, apparently.
Well, I hope, I hope that Nick comes back. You're right, he's a little late. I'm holding out for the lad. He should be here anytime, and that's okay. So,
Aurora double zeros. Yeah, chat won't let us forget that.
Oh God, no, that's
It's been literally the talk of this week.
Seriously.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Have they been talking about it in your chat as well?
Oh my god. Every time I mention this, they're like, yeah, and they roll double zeros.
And then there was me like, do. I don't even know what that means, but lol. Anyways.
If it had happened to me, it would have been death.
So traditionally, in tabletop gaming, you obviously, like, there's the D20, right? I think everybody is very familiar with the D20 at this point. It is what you basically base all of your successes or failures on. And the higher you roll, the greater chance of your success. When you critically succeed, you roll a natural 20. It's just, you could just Google nat 20, and you'll have pictures for I don't even know how long. I can't even venture to guess.
My favorite is the back of the axe in the middle of the target.
Yes, definitely.
Nat
yes.
20 in your strength roll.
Mm-hmm. But on the opposite end, on the polar opposite, there is the critical failure, which is the utmost worst possible thing that could happen. And you didn't do it once; you did it twice in a row.
In a row, yeah.
In a row, yeah.
Should have got a lottery ticket.
That's pretty next level, man. To be honest, it's pretty next level.
I'm talented.
That's the word.
Unlocked department.
It's okay. So, yeah, it's been a week. What happened last time, guys?
Abasi screwed.
Whoa, I'm unscrewed now. Fucking Pilakka and you are screwed.
Still have a chance to talk my way out of this.
Yeah, true. True enough. Hey, Esther, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, so there's some things that are happening. More characters are involved that I think honestly want to be involved. But, this is the name of the game, right? Like,
kill me? Why me? To be fair, it's probably going to happen, but still.
I mean, I hope not. But
if
the
getting
dice fall
new
that way,
crocodile skin shoes.
I really hope that's not the case.
No, I burn whoever goes near Donkor. Sorry.
Oh, well, Abasi has to keep something of him to remember him by.
My poor friend, the raccoon, apparently lost a finger.
He did, in fact. What is... Okay, it's Gidok. Gidok is the name of the raccoon.
Yeah.
Gidok lost a finger. What happened exactly to Gidok?
Gidok was followed or captured in the middle of the night while trying to get supplies for Pilakka by Pakapook after what happened in the bazaar with Jammara.
Yeah, so right out of the gate, you guys should know that you stick out. Some of you don't. Some of you blend in very well. Well, you did until you turned into a gigantic crocodile. You blended in very well, and then now you managed to put a target on your back. But they're going to have some questions about that. But you guys stick out a little bit. You know, a Palmet, which there's like one of maybe 3 in the entire city. 4, potentially, on a very lucky day.
I'm just a dwarf. I don't know what you're talking about.
For true. So Palmets are there, which could mean a lot of things. The people they're talking. Neferani has been a regular here, so they probably talked about her for a short time, but catfolk aren't all that uncommon. There are nomadic tribes of catfolk in the Osirian Desert, so, well, they would probably be a little bit surprised at first, but she would seemingly blend in. Jammara, well, there's a gigantic flaming target, and we saw as such last session. What happened?
I had no choice.
What happened to Jammara?
It was rape. It was be raped or burn.
Just
So I was.
We've all been there. I understand completely.
I had to burn everybody.
yeah.
That's what happened. It was scary.
It was. It was an intense moment.
Oh, yeah. I do not consent.
Truth enough. She was drugged. She was, in fact. That's accurate. There is no lie there.
I was drugged. It's true. Yeah, exactly.
Um,
But I still did not consent.
It's true. And you were led astray from your allies. What were you even doing inside of the bazaar?
I was trying to look for Donkor or anybody, all my friends. I wanted my friends. I started looking for Neferani, but nobody knew where Neferani was or who Neferani was. So then I tried not Donkor, and then they lured me to the tent.
We're friends.
Yeah.
They lured me there.
I mean, you're not wrong. You were most certainly lured there. That's for certain.
And Donkor got 6 kinds of fucked from it because the only thing the would-be rapists heard before fire was, "You're not Donkor." I don't think they're ever going to forget his name.
They probably wouldn't anyway, but pretty sure Donkor's had past dealings with them.
It was late. He needed to pick up a snack.
True enough. So, Donkor, you, well, add a fire into the pan, my friend. Not only were you sought after, now, like, a name is very important. A boy has no name, but in this case, a crocodile certainly does. You will be sought after in due time. Maybe sooner than you think, actually. But
has that already happened? What?
Well, they don't necessarily know. It could be a number of things, right? So the crone sends up huge red flags because she's basically taken on the appearance of someone from the other part of Galarian, which is like little old grandma. She's struggling to blend in, and she can't be bothered, right? She's hexed herself to look normal, but normal for a bird person, which is hard to say. So, you briefly met the Pook, the Pasha of the area. It is a title given. Who is Pasha? What does he do?
He's a professional Pook. He also might run the underground for a big portion of the city, apparently, as he had his own harem and a shit ton of guards and appears to be bad people.
Yes, he's kind of a bad. Did he have guards or was it just thugs?
They were basically just thugs, really. Yeah. They were like level 1 mobsters.
Aren't thugs just underpaid guards?
Yeah, it's not far off the mark, actually. Point taken. Okay, all right. So, what else occurred? What else did we see? There's a few other major points of contention.
During all of that, we've been focusing on Pilakka-Bitakk. The Palmet almost looked at Abasi and me.
Yeah, there was a Palmet sighting. Actually, a Palmet on Palmet sighting. Hey, it looks like we've got Nick with us.
Pog
indeed. I've got to fix the cameras. Give me just a moment.
Sorry to crash this party.
Hashtag raccoon cannon.
I mean, caw.
I mean,
You
Lord.
made it.
Just been on for a time. Sorry, guys.
There they
Wait,
are.
but they're reversed now.
They are, in fact.
I'm
can
the
fix
bad
this.
person. Try and stop me.
This can only go so well. All right, so that's adjusted. Now everybody's in. We're all good to go. And we're rolling. Okay, so basically, to catch you up to TLDR, we are just kind of recapping of the events that happened last time. We discussed Gidok being taken. We also discussed the introduction of the Pook and how Jammara was yelling out, "You're not Donkor," and then set his men on fire. And then Donkor erupted into alligator. I think I caught everything up there. What else
And
did we
they thought
miss?
I stood out in public.
Yeah, right. So, Nick, so things happened to Pilakka.
They did. Sorry, excuse me. I don't mean to. I'm trying to figure out. It's not there. It goes. Pilakka was poisoned in her sleep, and her familiar Gidok, the raccoon, was stolen. And dismembered. They chopped off at least one of his digits and left it as part of a warning. I don't remember exactly. It says something like "Don't cross the guy." Fuck you, basically.
He is
what it
waiting
said.
for us.
Yes. And Pilakka's fate was hinted to be like a temporary state, but the loss of Gidok is pretty profound to her.
Yeah, it is. For a lot of reasons, right? Like, mechanically, it has a lot to do with your spells.
Witches specifically in Pathfinder prepare their spells by communing with their familiars.
Yeah.
The familiar is kind of the wizard's spell book for witches.
Yeah. So without that, well, I mean, players kind of SOL, right? Or at least your character is. You're kind of SOL. You really need Gidok, which just a little throwback here. Is this the first time that you have lost Gidok, or Gidok may have passed away?
No, absolutely, certainly not. Gidok would have seen the jaws of death many times in his clumsy adventures. He's not like a very he's at this point he's cautious because he's like died so many times and been resurrected. But it was like a learning process to get there, and at this point he just barely manages to get by and skirt the jaws of death. But he's also not bound to the mortal plane by anything but that body. He continues to exist should his body be destroyed. So he's been reincarnated several times.
Okay. He's been reincarnated several times. Do you think this would probably attribute to his mental, like, sort of spaciness?
Stay a
Guaranteed,
while and
yes.
listen.
Guaranteed, yeah. At least I feel
His
that
sort
way.
of disposition and yeah.
Fair. Okay. So, friends, I think we've covered most of the events. I do believe that Pilakka had uncovered some visions. Yes, we saw some visions.
A couple, yeah. Let me
Yeah.
go back to my notes.
It's a vision of a crocodile opening, and then one of Neferani's childhood, we assume.
A child is attacked on a riverbank. I think that was 2 sessions ago, maybe, or maybe that was last session.
I'm pretty sure that was last
I
one.
think it was last session. Yeah.
You're right.
Those were human children, right?
Cat
Yes.
children, I believe.
Definitely.
They run away and meet with Blago, who has also seen a crocodile in her vision. She also saw, yeah, that's right, a vision of a different crocodile, one more up close and personal. I think there was something to do with the teeth. I didn't take down very detailed notes on that.
Yeah,
one.
some of the mixings of your stew kind of like erupted and took form,
Right.
Which made out the form of a crocodile's head, pretty much like almost in preparation for biting. But as quickly as it was swelled to that point, it immediately kind of dropped down outside of your cauldron, which is definitely something worth noting. But you're not sure its point yet. And it wasn't long after that Donkor arrived and said that he was a skinwalker.
Right.
He has a scale heart, particularly. What was your other vision? You had one more.
Let's see. Was this while I was asleep? Let's see. A pomegranate chunk held together by a seed that's separated.
Nope,
Pushed
that's
back out of the roof.
that one was before. This was from when your feather hit the bowl. There was a black spire.
The black spire with the coven. I think that was also 2 sessions ago.
I think it was just last session.
I could have
that one, but I remember that one going down, but I don't remember that from last session.
The flow of time is convoluted.
It is slightly. I've slept a lot since then, so
Yeah.
things are happening.
Things are happening. Things are happening.
She had a vision that a black spire rose from the center of the walled city, and her coven, which she kind of forgot about, suddenly descended on it. Crow people with the mark of her coven.
That was last session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that could mean a lot of things. Who knows if Pilakka will speak about that? But I think we are mostly discussed, but for the most part, everybody is kind of caught up here. Abasi finally spoke about absolutely everything, like the hard details of everything. It came out about why he's running, and everybody knows. The session ended with Gidok's finger being left and the lattice to your open courtyard being upward turned, saying that
they took my son.
Yeah, Pook awaits, so the Pasha awaits.
Sorry.
No problem. So just a word here, just to throw this out to you guys. This is technically session 4. The players here, as you guys, you will find that the viewers are now going to have some kind of control. They will begin to be able to do things. Now, if they're kind, and they can always sub up new subs, and when we hit goals every 5, we'll mark a luck reroll, if we're lucky. If we're unlucky, they can begin putting things such as curses and cursed items. They can start putting in enemies and traps, things of this nature. However, they can also create PCs that are in the game, like NPCs that are played by me, created by them, and they will function alongside you as either an ally or a villain, hopefully an ally. Most of them have a desire to help you. A lot of people already want to throw in equipment, but there is a rule. Equipment cannot exceed the level and speciality of each of the players. So, if you wish to give a special sword to Abasi, let's say that you wanted to put in an enchanted blade. Abasi is level 1, soon to be level 2, but you may not put in a level 3, 4, or 5 item. You can only put in up to his max level. You can do this by checking out your reputation. Type in !rep in chat, and then type in !table. It will give you a link. There it is. It's bit.ly rep tables that will tell you exactly how to spend your reputation. Quirks are not on the table. The players will not likely be able to handle them. Some of these are brand new players, and they're learning how to function within inside of the bounds of this new character. If you start enforcing things upon them, it might just be too much. Plus, I know not everybody likes the repertoire of their creative space fucked with. It's just not fun for everybody.
Yeah,
So-
it would kind of, it would be a bit distracting, and I think it was hard to keep up for an entire session.
It is.
I think quirks would work okay if you did it in like 15-minute chunks. Pay for it, hit like 15-minute timer, and like as long as the person is okay with it at that moment.
Sure. It's something to be reworked, but in the current time, you guys can start putting in things like potions. Potions can be bought before the game technically starts. There is a chart. Let me go ahead and pull this up, just so I am aware of this with you guys. I'll even pull it up on my primary page. This is the Pathfinder rep chart. You can put in potions. A Cure Light is 1d8 plus 1. Costs 1,000 reputation. Cure Moderates are 2d8 plus 3. It's 2,000 reps, so on and so forth. If you wish to heal them, there are only a maximum of 3 divine healings each session. You can Cure Light for 2,000, all the way up to Cure Critical for 8,000. There is a party heal, which is per the player, so in this case, you can't just decide to heal Neferani and Jammara. If you decide to party heal, you have to heal all 5 of them, and it will come at whatever that amount is times 5. So a single individual divine healing is 8,000. A group healing is 40,000. You gain rep. You gain rep very quickly at that, just in chat. Anytime a bit boss is beaten, new patrons, lots of stuff. Anytime that this kind of thing happens, rep is thrown out, especially by the end of the night. Enchantments are the weapons and are correct. MVG is giving 5,000, 1 Cure Light for each of the players, please. So you guys can add to your equipment 1 Cure Light potion. They're already helping out as much as they can. All right. Now,
wait, everybody, did you just say we all get a Cure Light potion?
Yeah, everybody's putting in a Cure Light potion.
Oh, snap. Thanks, Chad.
I can figure out how. Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, cool.
That's important because you guys don't have that much health. You probably have between 4 and 12 is my guess. If you have more than that, you're probably a tankier, fightier type. Now, bear in mind, while you guys can have divine healings at a maximum of 3 per session, they can also heal an enemy once per session. So if someone is feeling particularly fighty, if they want to make sure that a particular boss stays alive longer, they can heal that boss. Remember, this is divine grace. So the chat is the equivalent of a deity here. They can heal you. At the same time, villains also have their own deities that they praise. And they can also get a heal. It's only once per session. Now, that being stated, I think we're good to go. There are other things that you guys can do, but it is below. This is how you can start putting things in. The challenge ratings are intense, admittedly. 1 million rep to put in a CR20 monster. A CR20 monster is like the equivalent of, well, nuking the town. You would quite literally be killing the town. Probably wouldn't want to do that.
Please don't.
Yeah.
We need to buy things.
Yeah. Is there a URL for this list? Yes, there is. Right there. Check at that. That's the rep tables. Just click on that link from Goblin Vault. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like dropping Godzilla on Tokyo. That's accurate. So, there you guys go. You can check it out, and we can commence from that point. I think I've said everything that I need to. I know some people were already interested in putting in their some of their effects. So once a month, patrons at the $10 level or higher can put in wild magic bursts. And I know at least one of them wanted to use one. You will not know exactly whom that person is, but it's safe to assume that it's going to be on a spellcaster. If you can cast spells, you are at risk of having one wild magic burst strike you. Karami was among those people. So Karami, if you could please tell me again whom your target is. Once the game starts, you guys will not be able to put in additional potions or anything like that. The only thing you'll be able to do live is heals. That's it. Hey, Ryu, what's going on, buddy? There's a lot of check marks in chat. That feels good. That's pretty good.
Why would you do that?
She's been talking about it all week. Very excited.
Okay. All right, for Blacklight. All right, that's just once. They cannot affect you for an entire day. It's just for a single spell cast. Can we do quirks or not? The quirk system is being reworked. It's likely going to get scrapped in favor of something that works a little bit better, to be honest. Because most people can't handle it. They think it's a bit difficult. So I'm going to find my wild magic chart, and then we can commence. Fair?
So is the rules that he gets to choose which spell cast? Like if I cast something, it's not just the next spell cast. He's like this one.
Generally, he'll message me in Discord and say the next spell that he casts at X time. But he's already discussed with me previously when he wanted this to happen.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they can only do this. Each person can only do this to one target once a month. Bear in mind, there are multiple games running on this channel. You may never see the same person target you twice.
Now I'm just worried.
Oh, don't be worried. It could be something really, really good.
We could make another giant sapphire, and this time there's no dragon.
We never got to sell that, by the way.
I think it's assumed that we at least chipped off a couple pieces and made our way.
I mean, it was roughly the size of an entire wagon of pure sapphire, but you know, I didn't get my money.
Yeah. Look, we probably fought our way. All right, that's another time.
Okay. The wild magic chart is up. We're good to go. All right, so last session, it ended with the night around you. You were stressed. You were worried. Pilakka was not waking up. How do you end your evening? Would you go to sleep, all things considered, or do you find that you'll try to wake her up? What does this look like? Help me out here.
I wanted to get as much of the powder off of her face as possible with one of the strips of cloth I have, or bandages, just to keep it in case, you know, we find the use for knockout powder at some point in time.
Sure. From your best guess, most of it has been inhaled. It's probably not the equivalent of something that would knock out a medium-sized creature, but if there is a small-sized creature or smaller, it could work. You just have to make sure that they inhale it.
Well, it's currently rubbed all over a piece of fabric that I have tucked away, so it's basically at this point a chloroform rag for small creatures.
Okay.
Raccoon-sized creatures?
Yeah,
I'm gonna chloroform that raccoon when I get done with it.
Sorry again, get up.
I would be very interested in finding this if you could wake up.
I'm basically just going to sit and watch the bird until it wakes up, till she wakes up. Just kind of on like sitting on the windowsill, just kind of.
Okay, so will you stay awake the rest of the evening?
I might doze in the windowsill, but I would stay in her room.
All right, that's fine. You can do that. What about everybody else?
Donkor's gonna go back to sleep.
Yeah, I want to know what time it is.
It's late, or early to some. It's probably between the equivalent of 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. If you decide to stay awake at this point, you will move into your day fatigued, and that will have a negative. It'll have a negative effect on your rolls.
Pilakka is breathing.
It definitely is.
And like alive, and then I'll go to sleep.
Okay. Fair. That sounds good. And Abasi. Sleeping?
Guess. I kind of want to wake the bird up and be like, by the way, they kidnapped your rat. Go back to bed. Feel like you should know. But I guess you'll know in the morning, as telling you now doesn't really help anything or speed up any timetables or...
You're also not sure if you can wake Pilakka up.
We shook her a lot.
Yeah, you guys did.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't have a lot of experience being a dwarf from the undergrounds and the necropoli, but my knowledge is if you pour a glass of water in somebody's nostrils, they'll wake up. But I'll probably...
Drown my character at level.
Well, yeah. Think of the EXP I'm going to get when I kill you. I guess I'll go to bed, but I'm going to make sure that our door is locked.
Yes.
Does it lock? Is there a way to make sure that our bedroom door stays secure?
There's the bedroom door itself?
Seeing as they came in through the lattice work and just wandered into her bedroom, I would rather.
Given that the primary entrance itself has a large bar that you can put up, obviously Farhan was not expecting someone to come in through the lattice work. If you wanted to bar or block your door, you would probably have to put something up against it.
All right, well, I'm going to carry a chair in and cram it up against the door and be like, you know what? If Farhan has a problem with this, Farhan can have this problem with this after he's fixed the lattice work and given me a lock.
Okay, fair. I'll probably not be entering in unless invited, or until you guys are allowed to be freed. Plus, you guys paid handsomely, right? You paid out the course of a month, so he's just going to make sure that you guys get fresh water, fresh food that has been untouched by other hands, and that's as far as that relationship is going to go. If you need something, you'll have to ask for it. So, let's give you guys early day, and I'll open up the floor to anybody that wants to do anything. Okay?
Go sleep with the snorkel. I'm going to get you one day. I'm going to get you one day.
I'm going to assume I'm unconscious until told other.
Do I have a window in my room?
There is a
And is
window
there
in every room,
curtains?
yes.
Because I'm opening my curtains.
There is no curtains. It's a second floor.
What?
Not exactly like someone is going to be peeking into a second floor room. Plus, that kind of luxury is, well...
That's the best part of the morning. Okay.
We're just standing there watching her do one of these up against the window.
Jammara just wakes up and she's like, damn it, I wanted to open that!
You're not a Disney princess? Actually, you have a talking bird. You might be a Disney princess.
So, friendos, the day is yours. There is a rapping at the door, knocking. Several times over. Neferani, since you're closest to the door, I'm going to assume that you probably would have heard it since you were staying sort of on alert.
Mm-hmm.
It is about that time that Farhan makes his morning walk-arounds, especially to this area, delivering fresh water, breads and fruit for the early day. Aside from the fruit, you're also going to find that there is a garlic and several bulbs of onion as well.
So he's just rapping on the door.
Yep, he's just knocking on the door, and he'll place the tray down like normal, and he'll be on his way.
Okay. So I'm gonna go get the tray. I'm gonna open the door, but kind of like crack it open and peek out like both ways.
Sure enough, you can see the bowls, the carafe of the water itself, and the tray is just right there. You can thumb it in if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. I will do just that.
All right. I'm assuming shutting and locking behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'll put it in the where we've been putting the food that they get.
Yes.
I put it there, and I'm just gonna stand there and look at it for a second, because I'm not sure I trust anything right now.
Sure. It's at about this time that Abasi probably would stir, as well as Jammara, since you guys were already kind of waking up at about the same time. The sound of movement and the door swinging open, plus the dragging of the tray, would likely have stifled you awake.
I'm going to get all my gear on and try and wake Pilakka, and if it doesn't work, try and drag Pilakka out of the bed.
Okay. It doesn't really take much. It's almost just like you were in a deep sleep, Pilakka, something that you weren't expecting. And Abasi is there physically shaking your body.
Pilakka turns her head almost upside down, and it sounds like a deck of cards is being shuffled.
Oh my god.
That's fucking horrific. Do you just... You're like those owls I've heard of. You just kind of keep go. Anyway, I should probably tell you your raccoon is Hey Donkor, you still got the finger?
I am aware of what has happened. Something unbecoming of my pet.
You definitely feel this strange lack thereof. Like your tether to the arcane world has been stripped of your body, so it sort of feels like a void. It doesn't really hinder much of your personality, as you're well aware of at this point, but when he says that you're familiar, your pet, and he yells out for the finger, it probably would send up some red flags.
Okay, am I able to sense whether or not Gidok is alive?
Faint. Very, very faintly.
Okay. Pilakka is going to take the finger and immediately storm off. Do we have a map of the upstairs in which we stay?
Yeah,
Yes, it should be in the bottom right of the
yes,
map.
it's just above your tokens. I'll actually switch over so
Just
everyone can see this.
Above our token.
Yeah,
On the lower right hand.
I'll pull you there.
Okay, Pilakka, is that a fountain in the center, or is it just sort of like a little groove sitting area?
It is like a small groove sitting area. It's not a functioning fountain. They didn't really have... I mean, at least in the second floor of a tavern, they wouldn't probably have a fountain, especially
Would
one
be
on this low end. Correct.
Okay. then she storms off with the finger into the center of the room, hobbles off sort of like indignantly, hurriedly, and shaking off the sleep, and starts assembling a ritual circle. She discards some of the pillows and cushions that ordinarily stay there, and other ones she actually incorporates into the ritual. She's just kind of like drawing crude shapes with like pillows and salt and ash. With her cauldron in the center, as usual, and she's waving the finger over it, sort of not quite stirring the brew with it, but sort of like stirring the vapor.
Okay. Okay, not
It's
a
way
problem.
too early for this. I'm not even awake yet.
I'm gonna go check on Pilakka.
Sure. The moment that you exit the room, everyone can probably hear the noise that she's making. She's not shy of creating much in the way of a whirlwind noise. Some very masculine tone emits from the bird.
If it wasn't for the fact that Abasi woke me up, that would have.
But it's something like totally other.
All right, so since I'm in the same room and I clearly Pilakka is just preoccupied, I'm totally gonna leave Pilakka alone and go sit down. But like, I'm gonna eat some food because I'm not scared.
Sure. The fruit and the breads have been pulled away to some of the pillows off to the side. It is like a communal sitting area, so anybody should be able to sit down and enjoy it as well. There are multiple cups, so if you wanted to pour clean, clear, fresh water, it's all for you. Do you just wait for Pilakka to finish her ritual?
Yeah.
Pilakka takes some of the water to make her tea.
Oh.
We have bread in that, right?
Yes. There.
No.
It's not. I mean, it's probably like onion speckled bread, since it's a primary.
Onion speckled bread, though.
Yeah.
That's
Probably
fast.
a primary ingredient to most of their products in this area.
Yeah. So Donkor, if it's a full loaf, he's just gonna rip off half of it and just start eating away.
Okay. Abasi, how about you? Are you just kind of watching right now?
Breakfast, the most important meal of the day. I have to get in on some bread or some fruit.
Okay. Not a problem. And Neferani? You are muted.
I'm gonna watch everybody else kind of take some food and kind of watch them like in a and I'll just reach down and start eating and kind
Sure.
of resign myself to the fact that if I'm going to die, apparently we all are, so why not?
Do we have like knives or anything? Do we have like?
Well, you
or
have
we all with our hands?
everyone has daggers.
Oh, okay. You're right. I
Everyone
have a dagger.
has daggers. Yes.
Okay,
Just
I
saying.
take out my dagger and I slice some of the bread and I get some fruits.
I'm curious. Being that you have lived this long, are you much of a fan of toast? Do you think your character would be a fan of toast?
Maybe.
Because you naturally having the ability to kind of like light things afire, having
can
you
toast.
heat a blade wouldn't be that hard. So
True.
it's likely that you would heat a blade and just kind of singe through making like your own bit of toast.
I can offer you all toast.
She's become a toaster.
Oh my gosh, who wants toast?
She's so excited. I love it.
I want toast.
Black is still just chanting.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and slice up the toast for everybody that wants toast and hand it out because I'm happy I can make toast.
All right. Yeah. She expresses her ability. She's very, very happy about this.
Donkor's just gonna look and be like, that's probably the happiest I've seen everybody in the last couple of days.
Certainly, it certainly speaks to the camaraderie of the situation. You guys are definitely worried about this meeting with the Pasha. You're not really sure if this is going to go in anybody's favor, Pasha included. But regardless, Pilakka still drums on. Pilakka, they continue to eat their toast, minding themselves. There is a certain air of fear that kind of hangs here. You can read Neferani like a book. This is kind of scary for her. She's familiar with the Pook, knows the kind of dealings that he deals in. And this very well might speak to her life.
Pilakka is working on a ritual specifically to try to divine the location of Gidok, at least to get a sense of where he lays, because even if there's danger ahead, she's going to try to recover. And she's going to as she finishes, the chanting sort of suddenly comes to a stop, and she picks up the cauldron, pours a majority of the liquid into a pewter cup, which she then downs, even though it's piping steaming hot, and she downs it all in one gulp. And her good eye turns green and blue, like shifting shades, and then the color spreads to her bad eye, and then she looks into the brew with her bad eye now taken over by the swirling colors of magic, and drops Gidok's finger into the remainder of the liquid.
Okay, you feel your spell, your incantation, this what is the word I'm looking for? Not quite vision. You begin to get visions from this incantation that you draw forward, but it starts delivering a very unique situation. All you can really see is this haziness through bars, and you get this sense of relaxation. It pales black briefly for a moment, and then it opens up again, and you can see several bars all the way around. It's like you're seeing through Gidok's eyes. A voice begins to speak, but it's sort of delivered in that that heavy teacher sound from Peanuts, like Charlie Brown. But you can hear this this roll to it. Yeah, this. And Gidok's eyes fall closed. What you were able to catch is that it is inside of a canvas tent. There are many men and women alike sitting around an audience. Some of them are not as dressed as the others. You believe that it is some kind of harem group.
Okay. Does the tent look familiar to the... I actually don't recall if Pilakka was with the group in the... No, I guess she wasn't, so she wouldn't have seen the merchant tents necessarily. Okay, I should ask, does she recognize the tent style?
You've seen many of these tents since you've been here, but the largest amount of them are inside of the market, the Asps itself.
Okay, Pilakka will recollect the finger, sort of dry it off on her cloak, and then stick it into a spell pouch.
Okay. She seems to recollect this from whatever it is that she's made up to this point. And she seems like she's finished. The incantation, the spell seems to fall. The swirling of the eye color, does it die back down?
It does. Her eye colors return to normal, one black.
Okay. Do you turn to the others and say anything, or do you just kind of pause?
I start to collect my stuff, string up my cauldron on the staff, and collect my things. The very few objects that you would have put down, some maybe some like her bag, her largest bag. And she'll say as she's leaving, but they've taken my pet, and he is very important to me. If you seek my services, you will accompany me in his recollection. Meet outside in 5 to 10 minutes. and she'll make for the exit without listening for a response.
As she leaves, Abasi just kind of looks at us. Does she not understand that we all have to? They broke in. They want everyone. It's the only one. That's fine.
She didn't listen.
Donkor immediately began to walk towards Pilakka and attempt to put his arm on her, and then kind of like draw it back and be like, I don't think this is a good idea right now.
Pilakka like shrugs it off.
Jammara, despite your toasty disposition and your happiness here, Pilakka seems eager. I feel like that might be the best word. And with good reason. You don't rely on a familiar for your spells. It's your magic is inside of you. It's your blood, your bones. You know, it's in your muscles. It's ingrained into you. But you have met other people that rely on familiars or magical equipment and reagents. Now, sometimes for you, casting spells, it does require a reagent, but it's only for the biggest or the boldest. Now, for her, it's different, and you realize this. Her ability to cast spells relies entirely on Gidok, so it's very important to her. That would be like stripping away your magic entirely. And of the most immediate sense, that could have resulted in your successful kidnapping yesterday. If you had no magic, you likely would have been taken. So you can sense where this would be incredibly important to her, and she's kind of maintaining it very well, all things considered. But it would probably speak to you for sure.
Yeah. Pilakka hasn't told us about her vision or anything yet, right?
Pilakka's withheld all information so far.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask, like, what'd you do with the pot? Did you get any information?
I see. My pet is somewhere in perhaps a place where they sell the flesh, not for consuming, but for pleasure.
Donkor over here, this and immediately listen over. Is like, yeah, we know where she is.
Yep. We must go get her because we have to travel to the necropolis and
Him.
Sorry,
Him,
Gidok
that's
is
what I
important. Him. He's important.
So we're all together, right? Like this is before. Okay. So I'm just gonna do y'all know who the Pook is? I mean, obviously with the finger, you get kind of a sense, but are you all aware of who this person really is? And they probably have never seen me look quite this not happy.
Yeah, Neferani borderline cowers. There is a certain tremor in her voice when she says the name Pook.
Should we be concerned?
Yeah, you should be very concerned, but what we should be more concerned about is what he will do afterwards, because it seems he wants to speak to us.
If we are to go, which we are going, we have to rescue our little friend.
Yeah.
But we need to do this very carefully, lest we die. And I don't say that lightly.
Explain, Pook.
I don't, out of character, know a whole lot about him other than like that so I would just explain what like that he's a kind of like a mafia person.
Yeah, definitely.
Type deal that runs. He's only, does he do like any kind of like underworld dealings, or is it just like prostitution?
It's a lot of things. Like he deals in rarities and antiquities. He also happens to deal in drugs. There's a large drug market inside of this entire area, and he is high enough up that he could stage your deaths and just make it look like an accident, and nobody would question it.
So I explained all of that, and so we need to be careful, not only to get our friend back, but to get to escape, leave with our lives. There's no better way to say it. And it's not just the Pook. He is surrounded by his people. So this is not a battle situation, or mostly this will be a negotiation, I hope.
You know, it's funny to me is I wasn't aware that you could be afraid of anything. Abasi is usually the one who's afraid, and I think he just wants to get things done and over with. And
more specifically, I'm scared of my own kind. What you're describing is a coward with a tent and a bunch of money. And while our lives may be in danger from that, I expect it to be dead by now. The only thing I'm scared of is not making it into the necropolis. I'll
Didn't
do and I'll see, but if I see the opportunity and they start swinging, I'm taking hands.
I promise you will not make it far in the necropolis without me, and I will not make it far without Gidok. So,
Yeah, we definitely need Gidok. But didn't I burn one of his tents and at least 2 of his guys down?
I mean, you did burn them, not down, but you did burn them.
Like, as much as I want to say this, maybe I should hang back because he might actually be angry with me, and
No,
it
you
might
should,
not
you should
like
definitely
take
be
me
there,
to
but you should be wearing a mask.
A mask?
Sure.
How do I wear masks?
I bought one yesterday for you. So-
That's true. Well, so there's a reason they want us to go. Right? Oh my god.
That looked weird.
Oh my god.
Nightmare. Out. Goodbye. This is not okay.
That's the only mask I have.
Wow.
Ooh, shit.
yeah, I'm out. Bye.
Right, I'm with you.
He's seen enough horror movies.
I wasn't expecting that.
Sorry, bub. All right.
Okay, can I ask a question? Well, totally unrelated.
I have a mask
Does,
of my own.
does
Oh god.
really have any spells?
Do you have spells?
Yes, and,
You have-
and Kenshin.
You have
Okay.
what remains. What you didn't use. You are muted, sir.
I think I used all my spells last time. I'm not positive.
Okay, so you have very, very few uses of your cantrips. We'll say, while the tether is still there, until you have access to him, even you are aware, right? Like, as long as he's alive, you'll have access to spells. When he's dead, when he's deceased, your spells are no more.
Okay,
So
and-
while you're at this range, while he's been drugged up and he's been pulled away from you, out of your control, essentially your possession has been taken away, you have limited use of your cantrips. So we'll treat that you have 4 uses of each of your cantrips right now.
Okay, do my hexes still work?
Yeah, your hexes will still work, yes.
Do you want to walk over there in bird form?
I would like to. How far of a walk is it to? Like, how long would it take us to get to the market from where we?
You've got to be able to find the establishment, the building, first and foremost.
Okay. Then I guess I'm going to. I guess I'm going to disguise myself. For as soon as I leave the room, and start the timer from there. I only have an hour a day on disguise technically.
Okay, no worries. All right. Once you have proper direction, I don't think it's going to be that hard. But you know, the more questions you ask, the more challenging it's going to be for you to go unnoticed. Are you guys hoping to get the drop on him, or vice versa here?
Have him get the drop on us?
Yeah. The last thing you guys want to do is be picked up, right? Have a bunch of surly men grab you and then pull you in chains. So,
Okay. As they walk, Pilakka is going to start asking questions.
which of them which of your faces will they recognize?
Oh, he's definitely going to recognize mine, Jammara's. Definitely Jammara's.
Yes, and he has requested audience with all of us, and they know me and my true form.
I have to assume since they got in that they might have peeked at us. I mean, they were gone by the time we woke up, so we have to assume they know what we all look like.
Yeah.
And so basically, we all need to hide, or none of us need to hide.
In this case, he has us, as they say, by the ball.
That's not necessarily true. Nobody said we all had to go in at the same time. And I happen to know that he doesn't like fire very much.
How much of a force does this one command?
And probably a sizable one, maybe not immediately, but from the shadows, probably a large one.
Perhaps there's something I can work, but not without Gidok.
Do you hex yourself to look the part?
I'm only adopting the old woman disguise while we walk the streets in order to not garner attention. But Pilakka doesn't deem it necessary to maintain that once we find the people we're looking for, because they already know what you look.
All right. So it sounds like everybody is sort of prepared. Is there any more information you guys wanted to discuss or share?
Before we went, I actually wanted to propose. I want to do an inspire courage because I feel like this is going to be not basically for myself, but I figure it can't hurt everyone. It can't hurt to do it for everyone because she's peeing her pants right now.
Sure, yeah. So inspire courage, technically it only lasts as long as you are performing. Do you maintain a beat? You will have, you have the option to take a lingering, right? A lingering effect, but right now, so long as you are focused and you can keep a beat on your bongo, even if it's something subtle, you'll be able to maintain that.
All right, so then I'll wait till we get there, but yes.
Okay, sounds good.
I'd probably do that.
Anytime you need to step away, feel free to and say okay.
Okay, all right, so I will be back.
Okay. All right. You notice, everybody, that Neferani is very, very scared of the situation. It's among the first few times that she has encountered, or at least dealt with someone with this sort of reputation. Now, for you, Donkor, D for Donkor, you know that the Pasha himself, he's a merchant. He's a businessman. You've dealt with men like this before. Not happily, because they tend to always win the social combat. Not like you have much ground to argue. It's hard to verbally beat a blade. You're aware of that. But you know that the Pasha himself deals in trade, and money is important. Women are important. Keeping money and women in his court is what keeps the Pasha happy. So, you will be able to excel in this situation. Now, the others may have a bit of a struggle. Do you share any details, or do you usher for them to handle themselves or compose themselves in a very certain way?
Donkor in this situation is probably going to right now he's very standoffish, considering that he's dealing with the Pook. He's not really worried about the party at this point because now he has too many eyes on him, and it's something that he's not used to. So he's not thinking that far ahead to the rest of his party.
Okay. Now, you've even stated that yourself, that Aurora, as Jammara, is going to need to cover herself. Do you assist her in the shielding pretty much every part of her person?
I think he would try.
Okay.
It would be up to Jammara at that point whether or not that would be something that she's okay with shielding herself, because I'm not sure that she's even used to doing things like that.
I don't think that's one of my skills, and I don't think I have armor either. This
You
was
don't.
not well.
Well, you don't have armor because you're a spellcaster.
You can't really have armor or your stuff gets weaker.
Not ever. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
you can. Inevitably, you can find armor, but the challenge about playing a spellcaster is that there are verbal, that's the speaking, and then there are somatic components which require you to move your hands, right? Like, it's sort of like, as ridiculous as it sounds, it's an easy throwaway. Imagine in Naruto, where they do hand motions to finish their spells, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. If you fuck that up, it doesn't work. It stops.
Yeah, and if you've got big bulky armor, more than likely.
Exactly.
Okay, so I get that. I just lost my train of thought.
So if you're wearing like full knight or
Can
Templar
I
armor,
cast some
it's just not
sort of
happening.
spell that will shield me? Is that something I have in my
let's
arsenal?
let's actually take a look. Let's see what's in your wheelhouse here.
Mage armor!
Let's see if she took it.
I don't think I did, to be honest.
I don't think you did. You're right.
I'm
you
supposed to be your shield wall, and for the most part, we're supposed to be in tighter areas. So
Swell
be
your
there.
kindred text.
Yeah, I don't actually have.
All right, so you have magic missile, color spray, and burning hands. You also have a spell-like ability of elemental ray per your race.
I can use 8 per day, it says.
Your elemental ray? I don't feel like that's correct. We'll have to look. That seems very high. Very high.
I want it to be true.
I know, right? But like, that's why I'm asking, because it doesn't look correct. I thought that was only 1 per day.
It's probably... Yeah, we'll have to look that up. It's probably only 1 or 2. But as far as your 0-level spells, Acid Splash, Light, Mage Hand, and Detect Magic, you can cast those. You can cast those 0-level spells infinitely.
Okay. I want to see what this does. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
That's fine.
Do
No
that.
worries.
I don't know what pushing these things does. I'm just learning.
Go ahead. Go click them. The only way that you're going to learn is by doing some reading on them, or just by asking. Right. So Magic Missile, you literally fire a missile from your hand that automatically, as long as you have vision of the target, will hit them. It bypasses their armor, and they just take damage. It may not seem like a lot right away, but it scales. You get actually more missiles that kind of come out. And I'm curious, being that you are a fire sorceress, when you cast Magic Missile, what is the form of your Magic Missile? You shape the magic that emits from your body, and you can actually guide what it sort of looks like. It's something that's important to you.
Oh my goodness.
So, for instance, I played an elderly woman that was also a wizard, and when she cast Magic Missile, teacups fired out of her hand. So that was important to her. She admired tea time and relaxation.
Say AK-40.
Oh my god! Please not.
It shoots more magic missiles.
I don't know. What would Jammara like? She's pretty badass. Like, if Aurora chose, it would probably... Never mind. I can't even go there. I should... This is
my god!
Anyways.
Would it be would it be like like what? I don't know. I imagine that it probably has some kind of fiery vision based on how you are. What wouldn't you say in this situation? I'm mostly curious.
Fiery boobs.
Oh, that's so good! Just boobies. Magic missile boobies.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you totally can. You totally can.
I mean, okay.
This would work. You're going into a harem. You're like, you want more boobs? Boobs.
And
All right, let them go.
Yeah, magic missile. That's horrifying, but that's so good at the same time. I love it. Okay.
Abasi's gonna lose his mind the first time he sees them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Survive the missile. They might have like complications mentally after.
It shoots 3. Oh god!
Last time I saw a tit this close to my face, I got 3rd-degree burn.
Wow, you almost killed her! Holy shit!
That's
Not you, baby. It's me. He's just reliving the horrible scar that he got on his face.
Oh,
Boobs
so
did
good.
this. Boobs.
Yes, it did. That poor ice cream parlor just went down in flames.
The inside of the Baskin Robbins.
So the other spells that you have access to Burning Hands, which comes out as like a cone of flame. So it starts from your person and it kind of beacons outward and up to a 15-foot range. Color Spray is it's kind of a last-ditch effort spell because it's going to affect everyone. It could infect you. It could affect your allies. Something really bad is going to come out of it generally. Acid Splash is like a small orb of acid that dollops from your hand and you can kind of throw it and it does a D3 of damage. Light, you cast on a target. In anything that you cast light on, it erupts like daylight. It's like a 30-foot beam of light, which is
doesn't
great.
do any damage or anything.
No damage.
Just
Mage
light.
Hand is probably among the most favored of abilities. This is kind of sort of the same. You can depict the shape of this, but it can lift upwards of 5 pounds, and it can do anything.
Okay.
You can like scratch your back with it. like tickle someone's leg up to a distance, right? So let's find out. Mage Hand has a range of 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 levels. So right now, it will go 25 to 30 feet.
Yeah.
Pretty close distance, but you could like hook someone by the nostril, right? You could pull someone's hair. A number of things that you could... Exactly, pickpockets. That's another thing that you could do.
My favorite not so safe for work rendition thus far has been when the evil mastermind is monologuing. You can pop a mage hand dick into their mouth.
Yeah, just... While they're just... Blah, 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 blah.
What?
Yeah.
Nothing stops an evil monologue like a disembodied dick.
Yeah.
I can only use mage hands on things I can see, right, in my field of view.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to guide it, right? Like, you have to be able to guide it. So it says that you point your finger at an object, and you can lift and move it at will from a distance. As a move action, you can propel the object as far as 15 feet in any direction, though the spell ends if the distance between you and the object ever exceeds the spell's range.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so luckily...
How much does Gidok weigh?
Gidok probably doesn't weigh much. I can't imagine... you know what? For flavor's sake, I'm going to say it's more than 5 pounds.
Yeah, I was like, more than 5, right?
I'm going to guess under 10, more than 5.
Yeah, he's probably like a small cat.
Yeah. So, now that we have knowledge of these things, now that you are pretty familiar with your spells, again, don't ever be afraid to click on them just to kind of find out or remind yourself. If you want to read Color Spray, I'll pull it here so you can see it, but it's long-winded, okay?
Yeah.
I'll read it out so everybody knows what it does. A vivid cone of clashing colors springs forth from your hand, causing creatures to become stunned, perhaps also blinded, and possibly knocking them unconscious. Each creature within this cone is affected according to its hit dice. 2 hit dice or less, which is all of you, the creature is unconscious, blinded, and stunned.
How do you get
2d4 rounds. It's for 2d4 rounds.
Okay.
Hit dice are just level.
Yes, hit dice is your level. So if you're level 2, you technically have 2 hit dice.
It's a little confusing.
Then blinded and stunned for 1d4 rounds, and then stunned for 1 round. So it can get a little nuts. Only living creatures are knocked unconscious. If you have 3 or 4 hit dice, the creature is blinded and stunned for 1d4 rounds, and then stunned for 1 round. If you have 5 hit dice or more, the creature is only stunned for 1 round. Sightless creatures are not affected by Color Spray.
I know this isn't super relevant to right now, but when the hell do I get a spell?
You know, we're gonna have to work on that. I think, I don't know actually, but given your archetype, I'm not really sure when you actually have access to spells.
The worst version of the
paladins start with no spell.
Paladins have spells. I don't.
He does not. It's courtesy of his archetype. Things are weird for him.
Which is why my backstory is that he was a paladin of decent level, but now he can't do
Yeah.
Because his god has left him.
We'll be archetyping his character very soon, so we'll get that fixed. In fact, when you guys get your level, we'll start talking about that, which is very, very soon. And I'll go through that with each of you. So, again, if you wanted to, Pilakka, you can discuss anything that you might want to know, or if you guys want to hide. I know that Neferani is covering herself. Unless I've misinterpreted that. You guys should probably tell me that.
Pilakka's current plan, and she will probably communicate as much if asked, is to just strut in, is to find the place as quickly as possible, simply by asking around, and then just kind of walk in and see what they want.
Okay, all right.
She's not really. She sees them as at their mercy, but thinks that she can bargain her way.
All right. Donkor, how are you dressing? Just going as per normal?
Just going as per normal, considering I'm sure that they would want to have a conversation. So he doesn't see them too particularly as a threat just yet.
All right. Jammara, how about you?
I don't have any armor spells or any armor, so I'm gonna fingers crossed Donkor and Abasi can help me if anything goes down.
Okay, so I know that
disguise
Abasi
work.
Well, disguise is like it is as it suggests. You use the disguise skill, and based off of what things you might have. Like if you don't have a disguise kit, you basically just use what you have in your surroundings. So in this case, you would use the equivalent of fruits or like stains, or if God,
because we bought blankets.
Yeah, you could use that. Like you could just disguise yourself. You're trying to hide your features. So it really comes down to Jammara. Jammara, you don't really get hot, but covering yourself in blankets is not exactly favorable. That being said,
would they catch on fire? No, my clothes don't catch on fire.
Only if you wanted them to.
Correct. Only if you wanted them to.
Okay.
Abasi, are you wearing your headdress, or are you going?
I am going to wear my full fucking kit and caboodle
All right.
until we get in there, and when we're in there, I'll take it off because, quite honestly, a pommet. Again, you keep talking about how rare they are and how special we're supposed to be, and that our appearance is supposed to mean something to those in power. So having an unmasked pommet might help.
Sure.
Might do nothing.
Makes sense. Okay. Now, it's early, guys. It's very, very early in your day. It's morning time. It's probably right around 7 or 8 o'clock a.m., if you would. And everyone is prepped apart. Do you exit the Tooth and Hookah?
I would like to ask.
Okay.
I would like to ask Nabasi, is it?
Abasi.
Abasi. I would like to ask Abasi,
Where does one go? Should one seek whoring in this city? It's my grandson's birthday.
What?
Donkor hears this, right?
Yes.
Abasi's still going. What?
Donkor completely stricken by what he just heard coming from Pilakka will go, I don't think you have to worry. I think we're all going to the same place. Just follow us, please. And
Sure, grandson. We'll get you your hoy just yet.
What?
If you are going to commit to changing yourself before you head downstairs in your hex, I need you to roll me a D1000.
oh god, he cursed my disguise.
Yes. Andy, stop being adorable.
That's a low roll.
That's
You
really
have to be my disguise.
really
Be my disguise. There you go. Be my disguise.
Oh.
No one will look at me if they can only see you.
Oh, they took my. I would. Somebody would kidnap
A D8, please.
a D.
No, Indy, you have to be here when he dies.
Yes. Okay.
How many of us are dead?
No.
how many of us are dead?
This is instantaneous weight gain. The caster increases in weight by 20 pounds per integer on a D8. So
Can I move?
you just gained 160 pounds.
How does that
So
even
he
happen?
went to go cast his hex, and he became a fat old woman?
No, just a fat
He
bird.
just became fat.
Yeah, just literally just,
Give a chocobo.
just like
We're
poops
gonna
out.
need a card for that one.
How?
Can I get a drawing of this? No.
Yeah, I'll show you a drawing. I grab one off the internet right now.
Fat chocobo. So you have
Literally what I have typed in.
150 pounds is kind of a lot for Pilakka because she weighs naturally about 60.
Oh, jeez.
So,
That is-
the moment that you commit to your hex, you realize that something is wrong. There is this wild spring forth of arcane, like, insurgents. And
There you
as
go.
you finish it, you're convinced that you have succeeded, but instead of changing your person, you literally have gained 300% of your weight. And as quickly as your hex finishes, your legs just buckle. You know, the mere pretense of your own weight just, you shuffle down immediately. Yeah, you...
It wouldn't really be that loud because she's still only like a little over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of more of like a path.
So I've got to put my gear away now and hike a bird onto my back.
Imperial. Oh, fuck. I was not ready for that.
Is my
I
hex
got the
still-
cat jumping off the wall last week.
That's funny. God damn it, that was really good.
So my hex is definitely like also spent for the day.
That, I mean, you can definitely reuse that. You still have access to, what is that, like a first level or like a cantrip level hex?
Just Control D and retry.
Hexes are all the same. They're standard action. I think the specifics of them are kind of up to DM discretion, but they generally have individual restrictions. Disguise's restriction is that it's 1 hour per level per day.
Okay. No, I don't think this is your last. I don't think this is the last. And you would probably realize that the weight is also not its last either. But when you commit to dispelling the weight, it doesn't go away.
Okay. So Pilakka kind of like goes, she just like kind of snaps, and normally what happens is a disguise comes out, and instead she's just like rippling from her finger, like her arm just gets fat, her shoulder gets fat, everything gets fat, and then she just like falls into the ground.
We're gonna have to get a cart.
Something is amiss. My magic does not work so well without the raccoon.
This has been a life experience, but you're telling me that I'm gonna have to carry a chicken?
Only-
It could be a life and death situation.
I'm not entirely sure you can carry this. It's a bit taller than you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a cart.
I never thought I needed this more than right now, but the thought of Pilakka with dwarf legs as Abasi is underneath is...
That's the chocobo.
A lot of you are from lesser races. You might not understand how pommet is made. I have this. I'm gonna back down, like crouch back down, put my arms back, and try and like hike the fat bird onto my back.
Sure, all right.
You know, for somebody who doesn't want to stand out, you're definitely going to stand out with this.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
need
talk about. No one's gonna see me under this fat thing.
I'm gonna need some strength
Wait.
checks from anybody that wants to help.
But
What happened to all of Pilakka's clothes? Because I don't think.
Well,
what
Pilakka's
happened-
using very loose-fitting robes, right? Because
Okay,
she needs
okay.
space for Gidok to move around.
and get a.
Yeah, so she wears incredibly loose-fitting robes. The only thing that is you would see that there's a popping of the rope on her side, which was only in kind of like a very loose knot as it is. So when she started to kind of bloat up, it just kind of unraveled itself.
Okay.
Can she redo that on her own?
Yeah.
She's probably maintaining her own.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait. You want me to reroll?
Not really. No, you can't seem to find Jammara as you're beginning to like lift here. You're struggling to get in the right space, right? Like the feathers, you feel like warm, fleshy bits, but you're not really sure if you're lifting. As you kind of shove, it just kind of rolls out of your hand.
so I'm gonna see this, try to help too.
Okay.
Put your backs into it. I'm surrounded by kittens and children. Roll, bird, roll.
I'm not even going to attempt this. This is ridiculous.
Pilakka,
One solid push. Just put your knee into it and flick him up under my shoulders.
Donkor, give me a strength check if you wish to help. Only if you
don't wish to help.
Okay, all right.
He's done with this.
Hey, just become big and scaly just for 1 minute. We'll use you as a ramp.
Pilakka, can I get a strength check from you?
It's got no strength.
It's just Abasi.
Do this though, right?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. With everyone's assistance, even though Jammara and Neferani might actually be hindering the situation more than actually helping, they're just kind of like letting their fingers
Can I
roll
get a
up.
piggyback ride too? No. I'm just-
Yeah, that's what ends up happening. We're mistakenly lifting each other up.
Yeah.
We're gonna see this really potentially dangerous mob lord of the giant bird.
Pilakka, you were initially hoisted up just over the rear trunk of the pommet.
The rear
Can-
trunk of the Bummet.
Yeah, at this point, you're mobilizing. Okay, you guys are basically a goddamn Gundam unit. Okay, it's gonna happen.
They'll come at me or just throw all the spells.
Can I disguise myself? This is technically.
You cut off.
You
muted.
muted in the middle of that.
You said this is technically, and then it cut you off.
Technically against the rules of disguise self, which is how the hex disguise functions. But can I disguise myself as a sack of potato?
Yes.
Or
Just disguise yourself as a really fat merchant in a pelican being carried by something you can't see.
you gotta,
Can you,
We
can
have
you
blankets.
disguise yourself as like a bag? Like a Santa sack, like something huge with a...
yeah, that's kind of like a lumpy burlap sack full of question mark.
full of presents, but instead of presents, it's full of bird.
That's a
Yeah,
real
it
question. We could just
smells
go
like-
downstairs and ask the owner of the inn if he has any old sacks. We don't
We
have
have
to
blankets.
disguise. We just pull them over him.
That is true. Yeah, Pilakka tends to go for the magical solution.
That's fine. You totally can. As you try to do this, you do commit to your spell and your hex of disguise. It's not perfect, especially when you begin to talk, because the sack kind of opens up. You know, it starts speaking, right?
You're looking like a Tonberry. This is getting more Final Fantasy and terrifying as we go.
It
Yeah.
looks like. Does it look like the hat? What is it? The Sorting Hat?
Kind of, yeah, actually.
And inside, you can only see black feather. But if it's to open for a split second, you can catch black feathers. But the burlap sack just says,
In order to avoid detection, you will have to transport me in this form. Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck.
I almost feel like we should paint it red and put eyes on it so it looks like Emma.
I'm waiting on the fan art. I hope it happens.
so we
I'm praying for it.
Trojan horse this place with like a big angry burlap sack that just looks like a demon.
We need like beginning, middle, sack,
Oh god.
right? Like regular burb, fat burb, sack burb.
We've gone full circle. Yeah, it's in an hour it should fall off. Should, you hope. You think. Okay. Guard my sack ass round. Oh, it's too good. Oh boy.
Stay a while and
What is this?
Oh,
How is that not like a? How is that not like a private part? Like I'm confused.
How?
That's what that usually is.
It's
I
not a
don't
penis. It's Pilakka's true form.
that is good.
That's
Yeah,
what
That
I'm
is
like.
good.
Beautiful ass.
I'm almost surprised for that. You know, I almost thought that was Shaggy for a minute until
Yeah.
I looked at it.
Yeah.
Ultra instinct.
Yeah. No joke.
Ultra instinct. I love that meme.
So
It's so good.
Gory, sort of. No, the nose is a little phallic. I got to give it to them.
It was probably built out of a penis, and they're like, I'm gonna turn this into a face. I'm gonna
Good
work this.
Good.
need to.
All right.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So you decide to exit the Tooth and Hookah. Who's leading?
Please, because I won't be able to see.
Donkor is leading at this point because he's the only
Okay.
one not carrying the giant bird.
I'm. Wait a minute. I would have to be like this, trying to help because I'm really tall and Abasi is really short. So I'm like, how do I do this?
It's kind of like carrying it like a giant cold turkey.
Oh God!
Just
why?
balance. you just got to balance the bird. Make sure her top mates don't go over my front mates, or we're in trouble.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm
We're all
wobbling.
200 pounds of
It's fine.
bird and
Uh,
a random
what's-
person.
It's not okay. So dwarves don't have to worry so much about getting overburdened by weight. Like they can reach a maximum limit, right? But they don't ever stop. That's a great thing about them. They're stout all the way through. They're like tree trunks, and they can continue moving with any kind of burden on their back. Now, if you reach an overwhelming point, you're just going to cripple them. But at this point, that's not that much for Abasi. He's fairly strong.
I got 18 strength. I'm a big boy.
Oh yeah, this isn't that hard for you. It's a little more awkward than anything. It's like the feathers against the suit, or the robes are challenging for you to deal with. But you'll be able to move past this, not a problem. But it will be a bit louder moving down the steps. There is an audible thud every time. Does our sack of potatoes make any noise with every kind of buckle of leg and drop down?
She's trying to stay quiet.
Okay.
What does that sound like? Yeah, I want to know what that sounds like.
Is it like Archer when someone shoots a gun? Mop, mop, mop.
Abasi, with every step, there is a squaw, squawk, or merp coming from behind you. It sends up some wild eyes. People kind of look on. Even Farhan is not sure what to make of this.
What the hell are you all looking at? We're going to a banquet. God, commoners.
Donkor is gonna go to Farhan really quick and be like, do me the kindest of favors. Ignore this. As he's laughing in front of Abasi.
Abasi is trudging back. Make sure you get us some lox too. No more of that weird chicken shit.
And he quickly also lets Farhan know that they're leaving for the day. He'll leave the open lattice for another time while they're less burdened.
Sure. Makes sense. Okay. If I could, please, from Abasi. I'm going to take a look here real quick.
I've known you for 3 days and I haven't seen you lay anything yet, but now is not the time.
Abasi, from you... Never mind, I can't look at your character sheet. It just said no.
Nice! I can look at my character sheet. What do you need?
Can I get from you a skill check?
What kind?
Skill sheet does not consent, Bub.
I'm going to need to perform.
Ooh.
And I'm going to need another strength check.
Ooh. Well, here's your perform.
It's absolutely not terrible.
Seeing as it's a -1, that came out okay.
Yeah.
And then you need another strength check.
Yes. Very good. Very good. This is light work for you. It's challenging. You haven't lifted anything like this in a while, but it doesn't wear down on your person as of yet. Question for Pilakka. You disguised yourself as a bag. What would you disguise yourself as? Just like a burlap bag in general?
Yeah, like a big, sort of square, like rectangular-ish burlap sack full of lumpy, who knows, something round.
Okay. So let's say that someone tall happens to peer into the bag. What would they see?
Pilakka would be trying to keep all the seams closed, but if they were to look inside, they would probably just see like an endless void of black feathers and maybe catch an eye peering.
Good God. I'm hoping all they see is Jammara's fist.
Like, she's trying to keep it closed, and apparently it only opens when she talks, so she's not like... She's just trying to keep her yapping.
So every time I step, air is just escaping you? That's what all the noise is?
No, that's when I... Hold on, let me see.
This is great
because... No, it's been coming from you the whole time. You're like, we need sound effects. So every time we step, you're like, squawk.
What? Every time you step down, people are probably thinking that you're just an incredibly gassy short man.
Yeah, if anybody goes to peer into the bag, I'm going to use Mage Hand to tap on their other shoulder. Okay?
Perfect.
Hello?
Perfect. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm going to say that you guys probably did get a few odd looks. Let's go ahead and determine that. I'm going to roll. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All kinds of odd looks. Especially at first. When you step outside, people are basically swarming the city. Wati is very populated at this point. They're expecting big things to come out of the necropolis. Well, without fail, you make a big scene. As soon as you step outside, and Pilakka, you're struck with that early morning sun, that tiny bit of breeze. It's just kind of native to Tengu, right? Like it's wind beneath the wings kind of situation. So the bag sort of kind of uplifts a little bit and kind of flutters. So people are like, what the fuck is that? What is happening right there, right?
Abasi's still gripping it. Stop. No. If you move, I will drop you.
The maybe like one person catches like sort of like makes eye contact with the opening of the canvas and just kind of sees like the unfurling of a crow's eye just suddenly like open up and peer directly at them, swirling with men.
Good lord. You managed to catch
Let's stop fucking staring.
You managed to catch a child peering at the bag, and when the eye appears, it just erupts in tears, right? Like you've managed to just completely ruin a child for at least the next month. Yeah.
5 years on the couch right there.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys make your way through Wati. You find your way into the market of the Asps. And Donkor, this is yours and Neferani's specialty. You've got a pretty good idea where the Pook hangs, but you kind of need to define it. So I want to know what you two wish to do to help guide your ragtag bunch to the Pook's residence.
Donkor is going to try to stand in front of Abasi as much as possible while he's carrying this, so that way they don't lose each other.
Excuse me. I would use. Can I roll perception to see if I see any like? I assume that all of the people who work for him are kind of identifiable. Like, I don't know, they're all, bald, or they're all wearing similar clothing, or, I mean, I don't know if that's the case or not.
Right now is probably the most challenging time to locate someone that is befitting of a back alley thug, because the necropolis is opening and people are hoping to get in. Everybody is. You're literally inviting people from Galarian and Western Osirian. People are trying to make their way here, and they're befitting of all different types of nationalities, looks, and cultures. There might be some people that kind of fit the bill, but it's a long shot. You can try.
All right, let's try. So I feel like that's what I would do.
So you do find a lot of people that are befitting of that kind of like strong arm or thug title. Do you upright approach them?
I would probably.
You see a half-orc in particular. He looks very befitting of like a back alley brawler, or someone that would focus on doing some of the more seedier things of a town.
Okay, so I'm going to not run this by anyone, but I'm gonna go up, like kind of, slink up to him and try to, hey, I'm looking for, I don't even know what drugs there would be in this world. I'm looking for some
Molly.
Some catnip. No, some
sugar.
Meowie, do you want some sort of substance to, and I'll just kind of like tweak a little bit. I've heard there is a gentleman named the Pook who might be able to help me with that.
When you say the Pook, you see that he actually turns to face you. He kind of sizes you up and looks around to see any of your allies. Do the rest of you move up? Do you think they would have even noticed you moving away from them?
Probably. I mean, I can roll stealth to see if they did or not.
Please do.
Yeah.
I can't see shit from down here.
Perceptions, please, from Donkor, Jammara, and Pilakka.
Okay. That doesn't sound good.
The bag sees off.
The bag sees off.
All right. Donkor, Pilakka, and Jammara, it's kind of funny. You see Neferani slink off, very Pink Panther style, like high-legged, right? Move over immediately to this figure that is naturally predisposed to like MMA or back alley fighting, right? He looks, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely am gonna follow her over there. Yeah, might as well. Wait, but if we, who's holding Pilakka then?
That would be Abasi. Abasi is struggling.
Really? But are we not helping anymore?
Not particularly. You were probably deflecting the people behind. Neferani was not.
Oh, is there people behind us?
There are people all around you. This is like an anthill. Wati is booming.
Well, I don't want to make the wrong choice.
You can hold. You can wait to see if anything kind of pops off here.
Good idea. About to say that.
Donkor, Pilakka, do you do or say anything?
Donkor is going to wait to Abasi to ask him to stop, kind of put his hand to signal him to stop because he sees this, and just looks toward Neferani while slowly making his way to the side of Abasi.
Pilakka is waiting to reveal herself until they are safely within, safely off the street. Well, safely is relative.
Especially in this situation.
So, Donkor, you wanted to move to the side of Abasi?
Right.
Okay, all right. Do you say anything to Abasi? Because you guys have stopped up to this point.
Yeah, so Donkor, once he reaches the side of Abasi, will kind of look towards him and goes, Neferani's talking to a strange character, and we're in the middle of town. This might not be a good situation for us.
I don't really think it could get a whole lot worse. All I can see is black, and all I can smell is uncooked chicken.
Well, that seems to be a problem of yours, small one.
Well, hopefully this bird will transform back into a goddamn pigeon before I have to carry him back.
Yeah, we can only hope.
What's the sun like anyway? Is it good? Is it still warm and beautiful out there?
The sun was never particularly beautiful, but it's definitely still hot, which I'm sure you feel that tenfold.
Well, I mean, when you spend all your time underground, it's the little things you start to forget, like the sun, the warmth. What is love?
Well, I never quite knew that one, but...
Birdie, don't hurt me. It's the happiest I've ever been for a standing desk.
I'm dying.
I have so much crap on my face.
Shit. I'm at a loss right now. This is happening.
Too good. You guys are... You're just the best.
I feel like Jared's really, really entertaining himself.
This is happening right now, dude.
Hey, man, ADD's got to be tackled in some way, and in this case, it's just stacking more clothes on top of my head.
Over here.
Neferani.
Yes.
None of your friends, your allies, move up to you. They grant you the space that you might need to perform whatever it is that you're trying to do. Now, you've come up asking for something. You don't really know what exactly. Have you dealt in poisons before?
I don't think so.
Okay. So if you had to venture to guess what a poison might be called, what would you call a poison? What would a catfolk call a poison?
At this point,
Yeah.
it might be something donk related.
Hey, man, you got that big donk juice?
Yep. Yeah. Okay, let's go with it. Done.
The first donkey's free. After that, you got to pay a premium.
Oh, my God.
The first donk's always free.
All right, so give me a bluff. Okay? If you're going to try to thumb this figure for a poison dealer, then you have to get a bluff. That's really good, actually. Let's see if he is able to determine you're a liar. Not likely. Close. Very close.
What do you mean? You're looking for big donk juice? What's that?
It's a type of poison.
Looking for poison.
Looking for many things.
And why you come to me?
You looked like the type of gentleman who would have information about a great many things. Quite knowledgeable. I am new to this area of the city.
Give me a new bluff.
Okay.
Damn. Wow, okay. That's really fucking good. There's no way that he's going to be able to see through that.
No. Well, I heard you say that you're looking for the poke.
That's correct.
I can't help you. I don't play with that kind. It's too dirty. But I might know someone who can get you firejack salva.
Now, there is basically an unguent that is used similarly so in the area. They call it fire jackal saliva. It can make people incredibly sick. Thank you so much, Aurora. That's the first
You're
luck
welcome.
reroll.
3 of those are from my channel.
That's really good,
Yay!
actually. Guys, remember, you can force luck rerolls on the players that they can actually use for every 5 new subs. Which you guys are
Isn't
already...
it 5 gifted subs? Or is it just 5?
Just new subs in general.
Okay. Okay.
Which, as it stands, if I'm going to take a peek, 3 away. We're 3 away from our second luck reroll.
Mm-hmm.
But he tells you, I know a guy who can get you fire jackal saliva.
I would be very interested in such information. And I understand I have, in my limited time here, learned very little about the Pook, but he seems very much someone who I don't want to see. But could you perhaps let me know what part of the marketplace so I can avoid he and his associates tend to gather around?
He gives you a district. He says it's
Brown Viper. Stay away from the corner of Brown Viper. Nasty lot hangs around there.
Brown Viper?
All right, I'll thank him and take the information and kind of slip into the crowd, the opposite, like towards them.
As you're going, he's like, tell him that Sieg sent ya. He'll get you a good price.
Thank you.
okay.
Give him a little wink and cut through the crowd, like parallel to them, but taking care not to join them again.
Sure, that's the
Until-
second luck reroll right there. Thank you very much, Turbo. So now you guys have 2 of them.
Donkor will tap Abasi on the shoulder and get him to start moving again.
Well, I've never quite had respect for a cow before, but it's really getting there.
Neferani, you return back to your friends.
So I figured something out, guys. I got some information.
What they tell you?
They told me that they told me where the Pook is. It's in Brown Viper. The corner, I think they said.
You just said the poo's in the Brown Viper.
You probably don't want to be screaming that, Abasi. just
It's in the Viper.
I'm just saying, you probably don't want to be screaming that.
People should be able to poop whatever they want.
I'm just gonna facepalm. So yes, the corner of the Brown Viper.
Well, yes, that's exactly where we are not supposed to be looking for. Mushroom powder, yeah? You're not looking for that right now, right? Trying to deflect the situation.
People are watching when they hear a noise erupt from, you should be able to poop from wherever you want, especially the Brown Viper.
He's trying not to attract any more attention at this point.
Yes, much stealth, very well. Oh man. You guys might have to rename yourselves from Big Donk Energy to Bull in the China Shop.
Donkor would know where this was because he's very familiar with this, right?
Oh yeah.
Used to call me the sneaky rhino.
It definitely has a reputation.
Yeah, so Donkor would have been like, I knew this was I knew where we were going, but thank you for having a bossy scream that out.
I just look slightly deflated, like I did a thing, and
Donkor sees this and he's like, no, seriously, thank you. I've never in my life did I think that I would see someone carrying a bird twice the size of me.
Yeah, this is not the day I thought it would be. No, that's for sure.
Okay. I know that it's taken us a little bit of time to kind of get back in the swing of things, especially with all of the news of the viewer involvement. But we are going to actually hit our first break so we can come back strong and deal with the tidings of the Pook and his requests. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find ourselves entering a tomb. So.
With a raccoon, please?
Potentially. Depends on how well your negotiations go.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Pilakka's already cranky and her joints are very...
Mm-hmm. So,
I think I have 3
so then you
see, right?
You're fucking cranky and tired.
Guys, go ahead and get some drinks. Run off to a bio break. Tell people what's going on Twitter. Let them know on Facebook and your Discords, whatever. Get as many people here as possible. We work better with an audience. So we'll see you guys in just a minute. Take a $5, and we'll see you guys then, okay? Goodbye.